If you're watching this video, I'm guessing you want to become a powerful speaker. I'm going to show you why you are not, what's stopping you. It's the belief that you have in your mind about what speaking actually is. I was on a call with a client 2 days ago, and I asked him, I said, what does a story mean to you? And he's like, well, what do you mean? That story could be happiness, it could be emotion, it could be blah, blah, blah. What do you mean? And I said, I'm not going to give you any context because I don't want to influence your answer. You see, it's a perfect example that the words that we say influence what someone else says next. Your story is your ability to get something out of your mind and verbally articulate it into a sentence that actually makes sense. But why do so many people struggle with this? Well, it's very simple. It's because we have so many underlying fears and beliefs going on in our head about ourselves that stop us from connecting. We have so much fear of speaking that even a brief pause like this can feel like an eternity. So what do? We're in our head thinking about what we want to say next. You're in conversation with someone, maybe having an argument, and you completely tune out what they were even saying, and you feel yourself doing it because you're so focused on what you were going to say right when they finish talking. People can sense that. In NLP, we teach something called sensory acuity. And it's, if you think about it, it's body language. It's understanding micro expressions. It's reading the room, reading the person you're talking to. You can tell very quickly if someone's engaged in a conversation. You can tell very quickly if someone is wanting to end the conversation. So what do? You become a better communicator so the people you're talking to are engaged in what you're saying. But how do you do this? You understand that it's going to take some time. It's going to take some training. What would you train on? Number one is human behavior. Because before I ever speak to anyone, I must first understand who I'm speaking to. If I'm speaking to a group of younger teenagers and I want to inspire them to not get into trouble, my message is going to come across differently than if I'm speaking to older professionals in a business setting. Why? Because my demographic is different. The words that I say should adapt and change based on that person. You see, so often we just speak in the way that we want to be spoken to. We just speak in the way that we receive information. But did you know that people have different learning styles? Some people learn visually, which is why I make a video of this you're watching on YouTube. Other people can just learn auditorily and they can just listen to a podcast and get enough value out of it. Other people learn kinesthetically. They got to actually have a pen and paper and write stuff down to get stuff inside their brain. Now, we're all a little bit of all three, but we have primary systems that we lean on. So what do? I'm using all of these things. If you guys will notice in my speech, I'm doing the video, the audio. Oftentimes I'll say it, and now write this down and put this in your brain. And I'm doing these things to literally teach at the subconscious level so you remember and you're engaged with the words that I'm saying. And when you can do this, it makes your message far more powerful. You end up making more money because you know that your words have influence. Proverbs 18:21 says, death and life are in the power of the tongue. I don't know how much more possible powerful you can get than death on one side and life on the other side of the spectrum. That goes to show you it's probably worth learning. And when you do learn this, when you do learn the human behavior element of why people do what they do, you know who the person is you're speaking to. Next is you have to think about what feelings do they actually have as they're listening to you. Do they have some sort of fear in their life you're trying to help them overcome? Maybe it's on a sales call and they have a fear of investing. You're trying to help them overcome that. Maybe you're on a stage or on a podcast and you want to help people that are in a negative cycle by giving them advice or strategy. Maybe you're someone that wants to share your faith with people so that you can empower and impact a generation to live a life on fire for God. Maybe you just want to impact your business meetings more so people listen to you. Maybe you're someone who just wants to have more value because you can get out of your head what's been in there. It's like a ball of yarn. But when you can speak, it comes out like a fluid line that pierces the heart and soul of other humans. That's what great stories do. Features tell you about something. Stories sell you on something. So are you someone who is just talking about all the features of what you do in your business? Or are you someone that can tell stories to get that person to truly understand why you do what you do? There's a concept I want you to write down. It's when we have a why, we're more likely to comply. When you start whatever you're going to say with the reason why you should learn something, or the reason why someone's in this meeting today, or the reason why you guys are on the sales call. You are a lot more likely to have that person engage because great salespeople, great communicators set proper expectations, which is why at the beginning of a lot of videos, you hear people say, in this video, I'm going to teach you the blah, 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 blah. By the end of this video, you're going to walk away knowing X, Y, and Z. Why do we do that? Because we're setting expectations of what is to come. We're setting the expectation of coming attractions. And I want to demonstrate this concept to you right now, that if you've ever been someone who has something so great to share, but you've been afraid to share it, think about what value that could have provided to someone else if you were to share it. Dude, maybe you would have inspired that person to take action. Maybe you would have not gotten trampled all over and let someone treat you a certain way. Maybe just very simply, you would have felt more confident in walking into a room when you can say, hey, my name is Cody. Have you noticed how hard that is for some people? Even think about this in the context of talking to a guy or girl you find attractive. Why is there this whole community of pickup artists and people trying to use a pickup line versus saying, hey, my name's Cody, nice to meet you? Because it's so hard to be it's so hard to be human. And oftentimes we struggle and we put a mask on, trying to push to the side all the feelings that we have, all the emotions that we're actually feeling, all the beliefs we have about ourselves, and we try to act like our life is all put together. We try to act perfect. We try to say the perfect thing. But dude, the world doesn't need more perfect people because there isn't any. The only one that ever lived was Jesus. The world needs more real people. And I want to encourage you today, when you show your scars through storytelling, through on a sales call, and not need to act like your life is perfect, but show what you've walked through. Show the low seasons. Show you're not perfect, but you're going to show up for this person. Your sales are going to go through the roof. And it's not even a tactic that you're going to be using. It's you just being real and human. Because when you're on a sales call, when you're on a stage, what people are immediately doing is they have a wall up. They don't want to be sold. Even if they want what you're selling, they want to buy what you're selling. They don't want to be sold what you're selling. If you're on a stage trying to act like your whole life is put together, people are going to do whatever they can to want to break that down and find the real you. It's the same reason why if someone that you know would always lie or they're in a lie, you want to do whatever you can to try to figure out the truth behind that. But what happens? The second they own up to it, it loses all the power. And you say, okay, I understand. There's nothing more to say after that. So your ability to speak will determine the opportunities you have in your life. Your ability to effectively communicate will open doors for you that your resume never could. And it's the reason why in an interview, it's not the most qualified candidate that wins the job. It's the one who can clearly and articulately express why they are the best person for the job. I've been in many, many, many job interviews in my early 20s where I know I was not the most qualified and they were literally begging me to work, saying they'll give me a raise right when starting, before I even started the job, if I were to work for them. And this is not some sort of brag or flex because I don't know if I would have even done the job well, but they thought I would have because of my ability to communicate. I've been on sales calls where people are asking me, dude, how do I get this? How do I get more access to this? I've been on sales calls where people have said this, lady just said this last month, man, this is exactly what I prayed for. And when you get people thinking like that, it's completely different. And this is not some strategy. This is not some tactic. This is not you manipulating, because you can't manipulate this. You're going to mess it up if you manipulate it. But what you're really doing and what I've done is I've removed all the layers of the iceberg that I've been afraid of. Fear of someone else's opinion of me, fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear of losing money, fear of what someone might think. I've removed all of these things through two things, really. Number one is prayer and getting inner healing. And number two is neurolinguistic programming, rewiring my mind to think a certain thing, to believe a certain way, but more importantly, to release old things that no longer serve me. You see, you have things right now in your brain that make you think a certain way, and you don't know what they are because they're happening at the subconscious level. It's said that about 95% of our entire life is ran by our subconscious mind, and we're just going with the flow every single day. Things are happening on autopilot. It's just second nature. You drive to work, you don't think about the red lights you hit. You don't think about what shoe you put on first. You don't think about how long you brush your teeth, but I guarantee you it's about the same length every day. You don't think about which arm you wash first in the shower, but it's probably the same arm every day. But these things happen so routinely, so under the surface, that we're not consciously aware of them. Think about how many things you have, triggers, bad behaviors, bad beliefs that are under the surface that are driving you to do something that you don't even know what you're doing. That's exactly what I specialize in. I help you uncover these things and rewrite these stories you've been telling yourself consciously or unconsciously so you can become a powerful communicator to make more sales and get your message out to the world. If you want to learn more about what it looks to work with me, I'd be honored to have a conversation with you. Go ahead and click in the description below and you can schedule a call. Hope to talk to you. Bye-bye.